Hello everyone and welcome to this week's video. I took the funeral for one of our clergy yesterday, Chris Penn, a dearly loved parish priest who died in post. It was a privilege to be there as we reflected together on his life. The memories of his pastoral ministry to many were to the fore. His ministry was an exemplar of the Church of England at its best. Pastoral relationships, drawing people to faith, people cared for and helped through the great transitions of life and prepared for their deaths. Worship offered to God which brought people a sense of his presence and love. This is the experience of the church for many people. Sometimes, though, I think the church is a bit like the NHS. We criticise that institution endlessly, and when it goes wrong, it can cause a great deal of harm, hurt and anxiety. But when we're treated by it, we generally experience people in hospitals and other settings looking after us and trying to be kind. By analogy, the parishes of our church are places where, in our diocese at least, I would hope that LGBTQI plus people experience a welcome and acceptance. From the letters I've received and what I've observed over the years, I know that's the case. We do and should provide a place of love, nurture, welcome and acceptance. We have LGBTQI plus members in our communities, both clergy and lay, who love, serve and make a great contribution to our common life. The living in love and faith process, which we've been working on together for the last 5 years within the church, is an attempt to listen to one another in such a way we understand the things and issues that divide us. The bishops of the Church of England are going to take the fruits of that listening process into meetings over the autumn in the College of Bishops. We hope there we can eventually present some proposals to the Church of England General Synod to potentially shift us from our current impasse. Further background and resources you can find in considerable detail on the Church of England LLF website under Living in Love and Faith. One of the fruits of LLF to date has been, I think, a growing understanding of why different views are conscientiously held. Some of my friends who long for the church to move to allowing equal marriage have recognised that those who take a conservative position do so on the basis of deep conviction about the Bible's teaching on sex and relationships, rather than simple prejudice. Some of my more conservative friends have realised that those who long for change are not driven by willful disregard of the scriptures, but by a different interpretation of the key texts and context thereof. I hope we have all gained a better understanding of the operation of conscience. Those who want the church's teaching to change see this as a fundamental matter of justice, entirely consistent and even commanded by the overarching themes of the Bible. Those who don't would see this as a fundamental matter of fidelity to the Bible and faithful discipleship. If we are to move, we will have to move together, or at least enough of us move together to command a level of assent. For anything substantial to change, there needs to be a 2/3 majority in each of the 3 houses of General Synod. For all the talk of bishops, power and deference, we do not rule by diktat. My prayer for the bishops is that we can find a way to live together that allows such an expression of conscience. In this, there are precedents in the way we have accommodated remarriage after divorce in our liturgical practice. The current teaching ideal that marriage is for life remains, but space is created for those for whom that isn't a reality. Conscience is respected, and those who are trying to build a new life after great pain and hurt receive a welcome and pastoral support. My personal experience is that our current situation leads to great hurt, incredulity in the wider culture, and an a priori dismissal of the church as a community that could speak into these fundamental aspects of human existence. We have such good news about the values of fidelity, permanence and commitment that rightly challenge society's culture of transience and selfishness that leads to such damage in so many lives. More fundamentally, the gospel tells us that God loves us, all of us, is for us, and supremely demonstrates that love in dying for us so we can have a relationship with him. That relationship is the key to human flourishing. That most fundamental of gospel values, the heart of the good news itself, struggles very hard to be heard where there is such a dissonance.